Sportsman Nation, here with Willie McGowan, women's soccer coach. Willie, let's talk about the 2015 season. First off, we'll rewind a bit, talk about 2014. Great year. Had a game at home for the postseason. I think you felt like you exceeded expectations, all of that, but I'll put it in your words.
Yeah, I mean, when the 2014 season started, we thought we were maybe going to have to take a little step back. Our defensive setup wasn't quite as great as we thought it was. We had to convert Kelly Button as a forward into a goalkeeper, and we thought we were going to really kind of struggle defensively. And as it turned out, I was completely wrong as a coach, and we ended up going on a run there for quite a while. Have our best season to date since 2005. Kelly was, I think, an all-conference weekly pick 3 or 4 times.
Right.
First team all-conference goalkeeper. Our defence were very stingy, apart from one game, but but Missouri Valley deserved that one. But yeah, I mean, it come out the way we did last year, and the steps that we have moved and taken forward has really been great, and that's kind of allowed us to kind of build on that with some of the recruiting that we've had this coming year. With bringing in a number of junior college prospects, as well as some of the freshmen that will see time straight away, hopefully.
Sure, definitely. I guess getting right into 2015, obviously we just kind of talked about recruiting, so yeah, we'll just get right into this fall. However you want to break it down. If you want to go positions, if you want to go returners, however, but tell us about your team.
We brought in Adri Borjon from Mendocino College. Really good career there as a goalkeeper. Bringing her in last few days, she's really tough. We love that about her. I think her favourite pastime outside of soccer is CrossFit, so she's going to be ideal. On the defensive side of things, we have Mariah Voigt coming back in from a redshirt year last year, unfortunately. But we've also recruited there because that's where a number of our players actually left and graduated from.
Right.
So we have Annie Jimenez coming in from Taft College, Katie Salinas coming in from Iowa Central, Izzy Lucking will be a freshman coming in from River Falls, Wisconsin, and then hopefully Laura Cartwright will jump in and see some time as well.
Sure.
But we've also got a couple of returners as well that kind of developed a little more last year, and they'll jump in and help too.
Sure, definitely.
On the midfield, I mean, I think that's going to be our strength again, hopefully. We have Elise Caraya, Camilla Parra, who was our top goal scorer, returning.
Right.
Anna Marie Earps is going to be another redshirt player coming back with great experience. Surprise was Sylvia Munoz coming back in and playing another year for us. And then we just add a couple more with Gracie Belmontes coming in from Evergreen Community College. And then Mary Richards hopefully will get a lot more games this year as a midfielder as opposed to a defender. And her being her senior year, I'm sure she'll enjoy that a lot more than playing on the defensive side. So, and then really the forward line, the only real changes to it is going to be Danny Ambrosio coming in from Iowa Central. Hannah Baker is one of our kids from Australia. And then we still have Lauren Abus and Francis Lee up top. So I think judging by the practices we've had, I think creativity is going to be there through the midfield and forward line. And if we can shore up that defence and get them gelling together, I think we'll be pretty tough again to beat.
Sure. That we got everybody on that list.
We got it.
Make sure we're going to miss anything. Okay.
There it is right there.
There you go. Obviously, brand new conference. We've played a lot of these teams. We had Avalon on the schedule, and Central Methodist, and Culver, Missouri Valley, etc. On the list last year. So we have a feel of what we're getting ourselves into, but do we really have a feel of what we're getting ourselves into, and how ready are we, and where are we going to fall into the whole mix?
I think we're better prepared this year than we were last. Again, just with the defensive players that we have, we don't have to rely on trying to bring midfielders back and convert them, which is going to be great for us. The big thing for us is going to be just trying to be competitive.
Right.
Last year we tied Culver Stockton, we tied Avila, we got beat by Central Methodist in overtime.
Right.
Missouri Valley, I mean, all credit to them, they took it to us that game. So, it's going to be a very tough conference, but like I said, I think we're better prepared this year than what we were last year, personnel-wise.
Right.
The biggest test for us now is to find, that starting 11 or the correct formation.
Sure.
To jump in and give these guys the game that they deserve and we deserve.
Right.
I mean, the Heart, in my opinion, is probably one of, if not the toughest conference in the nation.
Sure.
Benedictine, we got Grandview, our old rivals in there as well. Missouri Valley, the list goes on. I mean, every team in there is competitive.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very interesting year for us.
Right. With the preseason ranking coming out yesterday as far as conference, I should say, you guys were farther on the bottom end than you'd like to be, but I know we talked about it that, it might be good to be the underdog and be overlooked maybe and say, you know what, fine, you want to do that and think that you're going to have an easy game against William Penn, go in with that mentality, but we're not going to give them an easy game. So, talk about, obviously you want to be competitive, but, the realistic expectations going into the...
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely one of those things. I mean, we talk about the rankings and we're deemed to be 10. And I mean, you can look at it both ways. One, we're new at the conference.
Mm-hmm.
Two, unfortunately, we don't have a great tradition, like a Grandview of moving on and playing good teams and everything else. So I can roughly see where we are, but, there was a few positional changes in the rankings. Even from the Heart teams, Graceland, they were pretty solid last year. They were down to 7th.
Mm-hmm.
Culver Stockton, they jumped up. So, I think it just shows how competitive this conference is going to be.
Right.
And I think the biggest thing, like you mentioned, being ranked 10th. I mean, our hope is people look over us.
Right.
They're looking more towards those games against the top 4.
Sure.
And maybe they don't prepare as much. Maybe their players maybe have a little overconfidence going in. We're certainly going to use number 10 as a kind of chip on the shoulder. Let's get it off, and work our tails off.
Sure.
And we're gonna, like I said, go into every game, try and be competitive. And if we can sneak a couple of wins here and there, and we can turn some heads, I think that sets us up well again for next year.
Right, definitely. Non-conference wise, obviously you're just preparing for the conference, but you got a tournament in Indiana to start things off. Just talk about how that's going to get you guys ready for Heart play.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good tournament for us to jump into. We scrimmage here on Saturday night. We scrimmage again against Central College next Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll hopefully give us a bit more preparation. But the tournament, the teams out there will be Mount Mercy. But at this point we'll have to travel 5 hours to play them when they're an hour and a half away.
Right.
But then the other team hopefully will be Calumet, who really gave us a run for our money last year. I think we beat them in overtime after having a 2-0 lead that we gave up. So, I think that'll be a good game as well. We got Ashford, who unfortunately are stopping their programs after next year, but they've got something to prove and go out with a bang.
Sure.
Simpson College, they'll want a little bit of revenge on us from last year after winning that game in overtime.
Right.
And then I'm just trying to think who else we have. College of St. Mary's out in Nebraska, they come into us. And then who else do we have?
I feel like that's it.
I know there's one or
there's
two
one
more.
other.
I know there's one or two more in there, but the conference is where it's at. We have to be ready for that. But the non-conference games, I mean, they're just as important because I mean, we want to win.
Yeah.
We don't want to go in there lose games because that's going to dent the confidence. So, all the games that we're going to play, we're going to come out and play as hard as we can.
Right. I guess just to wrap things up in a nice little bow, you got a brand new backline and keeper. What is going to be? I mean, obviously, a lot's going to be relying on how much success they have. But what's the key to 2015?
I think the key we talked about a little bit is the competitiveness. We really have to go out there and take individual player, individual battle, and really try and win that little battle for every player. We've got to really, kind of work on our team shape. Not giving them a lot of space when we're on the defensive side of things. Really keep things nice and tight.
Sure.
And then obviously we have to do probably a lot more in regards to scouting and preparing for teams because like I said, there's no easy game in the heart.
Right.
So there's going to be a lot of falling more on the coaching staff,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the individual players having to step up and be counted. So,
Sure.
I think, just familiarity, the more we play and practice, the girls are starting to become even more comfortable with each other.
Mm-hmm.
We've been in 2.5 days, and
Sure.
it's starting to come together a little
Sure.
bit even right now. So the more we can play, the more we can get together as a team, be a unit. I think that's what's going to carry us forward.
Right, definitely. All right, Coach. Well, again, Calumet coming up on 29th and 30th, that tournament out in Indiana. So best of luck there. Get the ball rolling in the right direction and kick some butt this year.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right.
Appreciate your time.
Okay, thanks.